This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. Guys, can you hear me? Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's very morning. So hopefully, all of you guys are from India or out of India. People.
India.
Is there anyone from out of India? Guys, mute yourself. No, never mind. Please mute. Please mute yourself. Can you please mute yourself? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so just you can respond in the chat box, okay, until unless if it is not clear from the chat box, then we can. So till then, yeah, the chat box is fine to go. So please ping me in the chat box if you have any questions or you have some answer to the question, so you can ping me in the chat box. All right, guys. So yeah, let's jump into this. So I think I guess most of you guys are already attended the demo session happened day before yesterday. Hopefully, is there anyone who is not attended the demo session and here? Can you please ping me in the chat box? Am I hello? Am I clear about my question? Okay, so anyone who missed the demo session and directly attending the today's session, is there anyone? Okay, cool then. So hopefully,
Yeah, I did not attend the demo session. I'm attending this one.
oh, Rajan. Okay, fine. No issues. Anyhow, just we are talking about basics only. Right. Let me give you some overview again. Right. Then I think that would be fine. Okay. No issues. No issues. Okay. So on the demo session, I just covered only 2 points. Yes, because like I could, it was 1 hour session and I just discussed only 2 points. So who are the target audience to learn this course and why do you want to learn Python? What are the reasons? What is the reason? What are the different reasons that we have? Okay, to learn Python. Only these 2 points I was able to cover. But out of things, because demo session is like only for 1 hour session. Okay. So anyhow, I'll repeat quickly just in 5 minutes and let's move forward. Okay. So today is okay. Right, guys. So let me just recap it very quickly. Shows, come on. Okay. So if you look at this, so this is what who can join this course means, like, so anybody can join basically, right? It's a common programming language. Okay, general purpose common programming language, which is well known as a scripting language. Okay, so most of the people having that confusion. So Python can be called as a scripting language or a programming language. So you should never worry about that point. It's 100% programming language. Of course, it's a kind of scripting language. That's all. Okay, it's basically top level. It is a programming language only, a general purpose high level programming language. Of course, it is well known as a scripting language. So we should understand about that. What is scripting language? What is a programming language? We'll talk about that. But at the base point, if you look at the base point, it's Python is a general purpose programming language and anybody can learn. anybody can learn. So anyone can jump into to jump into this course. Okay, right. So freshers with any educational background can join. IT professionals who wants to build their career into Python world. Okay, so that can be Python with Django. Django is a kind of framework, guys, like how you have Spring framework, maybe in Java. Okay, so MVC in .NET, etc. Right? So if you want to become a complete web developer, then you can go into this go and take this Python and Django courses, right? So there are a number of people who can learn, who are working in testing. So testing engineers who are working Java, .NET, PHP, other technology as a web developer, and they wanted to switch. Network engineers, IT network engineers, like IT team in companies, we have IT administration team, right? So who can set up our network, our laptop, and if we have any issue, so they are responsible. They're going to fix it for us, and they do take care of all the security things, okay, in the network. So the network engineers also need to do some kind of scripting, okay, need to do some sort of scriptings. So as part of that, they are going to choose some languages to write the scripts. However, the Python is very simple and easy language, so they are preferring to learn Python. Okay, so then DevOps developer, even they're also like they need to write some sort of scripts to deploy the applications. Okay, as it is a frequent operation. So the dev operation, the deployment, application deployments, websites deployment is a very frequent operation. So like so even they also have to do some sort of scriptings. So they are using Python. Again, it's a easy language. So likewise, AWS engine is the Amazon so web services, right? So AWS engine is data scientists, machine learning, artificial intelligence implementation, which is what machine learning, right? So there are a number of things, guys. So I just listed the top things, okay, but there are a number of things. So you know there are a number of things where Python is having its own space. All right, so you can refer these websites, guys. If you have any doubt, just go to Google and just type like Python average salary indeed. Okay, no issues, absolutely no issues. Uh, just replying a question from the chat box, guys. Okay, so he's working on a as a PLSQL developer, and he's new to Python. So absolutely Python, and maybe you feel little easy also because you have already programming knowledge. Okay, so you do not have to worry about this point. Okay, right. So it will be easy, it will be easy to learn. So even if you don't have any prior programming knowledge, you don't know anything about software, about programming, whatever, so but still you can learn Python. It's straightforward and simple language. You do not have to worry about that. Right, so you can just Google it, guys, maybe in parallel to me. So just go to Google and average salary of Python developers. Just look at that. You will understand that, because this is not the one I have written. So I have taken this from the statistics. Okay, so the average salary, like you can see, 120K US dollars per annum. Okay, so it's not a small thing, guys. 120 US dollars, 120K US dollars per annum is not a simple thing. Okay, and there is one more website where they do the statistics analysis, everything. So according to that, so this is what TOB. So Python has been voted the most popular languages all the time, guys. Okay, so it has huge job market and community support. Around almost 30 million plus people are working around the globe. So it will be very easy to get the support. Okay, so it's a friendly language and beginner friendly language. Okay, anybody can learn it, right? So it has huge set of libraries, guys. That's another important thing. So when you say library, it's a set of programs basically. Okay, so it has lakhs of libraries available to make your job simple. So you do not have to write the code from the scratch from the beginning. You do not have to write the whole logic by yourself. So there are already some built-in things. Okay, just need to know how to use that. Okay, so just kind of preparing a Maggie. Okay, so there are something like already prepared thing, the basics. On top of it, what you wanted to learn, just you have to take care of that. Okay, so the various areas. Okay, so where it is used is, right, so it can be used for developing web applications, desktop applications. Hopefully everybody is aware of that. Okay, so hopefully everybody is aware of that. So what is a web application, what is a desktop application? Okay, so for developing database applications, network programming, so it can be used to develop games. Okay, it is used in machine learning applications, data science, analytical applications. Okay, for IoT applications. Okay, Internet of Things. So there are a number of things. Okay, there are a number of things. So where your Python can be used. Okay, where your Python can be used. All right, guys. So do we have any applications that do we have any applications developed using Python? Any existing applications? If you look at, so there are again a number of things. Okay, so but you can see the topmost thing. So everybody familiar about this YouTube. So YouTube, so the Python has been used as part of this YouTube application development. Okay, and maybe Instagram, most of you guys heard about that. Instagram is developed using what? Python. And Quora, one is popular website, community website nowadays. So Quora is also developed using in Python. Okay, so we have something called Dropbox. Okay, we have Pinterest, the top websites, right? So like this, we have a number of applications developed using Python, guys. There are a number of applications so developed by Python. Okay, so you do not have to worry about your career to start with Python. That's what the point, the whole point we're going to talk about this. Right, so Balu, yes, we are going to learn a Django. So just the architecture of the Django, what are the different components that we have in Django, okay, and a sample application with the Django. That's what we are going to discuss. Okay, so maybe 3 to 4 sessions will cover about that. Okay, so the where you can where you can start with the development. Okay, all right. So now if you look at so if you look at this, I think I have shared this. Let me open it for you. Okay, this is a sample, So web application, we have client side and server side. In the server side portion, we are going to use Python. Okay, and then so just Python is just a base platform, right? So if you right, so if you look at this, right, so the base Python platform, on top of it we have all these technologies built up, meaning that so either build up or this Python is used to do the coding of that particular technologies. Okay, so Java, .NET, web development, IT network admins, DevOps, Azure DevOps, okay, AWS DevOps, so AWS, AI, ML, IoT, Selenium, testing, as part of testing, big data, data science, so n number of things, okay, so where Python has occupied its own space. Okay, so that's what we're going to understand. What are the Python core module and advanced module? Okay, hopefully you would have received have been received the course content by this time? Okay, so if you have any doubts in that, you can ask me, right? And let's proceed. That's what we discussed in the demo session. Just a recap of quickly recap of that. So let's begin with that. Okay, so what do you know about a programming language? Okay, so let me start with this. Right, so what is a programming language, guys? Can you please give me your answers in the chat box quickly? Can you please give me your answers in the chat box quickly? Can you please give me your answers? What is a programming language? What is a programming language? Okay, so anyhow, so please start typing over there. Okay, so this is what mission, right? So mission understands its own language, right? So mission understands its own language, and we understand, the human beings understand a different language, right? So whatever, okay, whatever a human understands, the computer may not understand it straightforward, right? Whatever computer understands, that that human being cannot understand, right? So anyhow, somehow we are going to interact. Okay, the human being is going to interact to the computer, okay, to do or to automate certain tasks. Okay, so where a human being does manually the things manually, instead of doing the things manually, he's going to ask mission to do on behalf of a human being, right? So where it takes less amount of time, where it gives accurate results, right? So that's what we are going to send the instructions to the computer, meaning that the human being gives the instructions to the computer, right? So how he is going to give the instructions? Okay, so basically he's going to give certain instructions, right? Okay, so one second. So instructions, okay, just I'm just going just show the code. So he is going to give some instructions to the computer. So how he is going to give the instructions again? So how do we have different languages to speak? So we have Telugu language, we have English, Hindi, right? Kannada, Tamil. So it's like a number of languages we have, right? So the purpose of all these languages is what? Just to communicate, right? Just to communicate something from one person to another person, right? So here also, like, to communicate these instructions to the computer, to give the instructions to the computers. So there are a number of languages are given, okay, in the market. So those languages, so we do write those languages in high level. So that is in high level, meaning that human readable writable format. When I say high level, it's a human readable, not machine level. So when you say low level, so you can say here the terminology is, so mission understandable format, mission understandable or mission readable code. Okay, human readable code or instructions. Okay, instructions are human readable instructions, are mission understandable or readable instructions. Is that point clear, guys? If you are good about these basics, let me know, we can speed up. Otherwise I'll have to explain you from the beginning very clearly. Okay, so we have high level and low level. So now the conversation between human being and the mission. Okay, so it doesn't happen directly because both are like both can understand a different languages. So something like that, you know Tamil, I know Telugu, but uh, how can we establish the communication? Because your language is different, my language is different. So that is where we need some common language to communicate. Okay, so you know English and I know English, so the English is the medium to establish the communication between you and me, right? So exactly, so here also, like, whatever the code you are writing, whatever the instructions we are writing at a high level, Okay, so those instructions to be converted into mission level language. So that is where we have some interface. We have some interface between the human being and the mission. So those interface we call it as, okay, we call it as, okay, so we call it as once again, we call it as a translator. Basically what that guy is doing, translate the high level language into low level language. Translator, so he's going to do what? Translate the human readable format into, so human readable format. Okay, so this is what mission understandable code. So who is going to do this? The translator is going to do this. Okay, whatever the instructions that we are writing, so we write them in high level language. That's what we write in English, because that's the one that we can understand, we can read. So we read, or we write the instructions in English, which is what known as high level. Okay, so high level instructions we are giving to the computer, but computer cannot understand that directly. Machine understands only what? Ones and zeros, the binary language, a mission level language. Okay, so somehow this needs to be convert or translate into that. So that is where, so that's where there are softwares to do this. There are softwares to do this. That's what translators. So what are the softwares that we have is, we have something called compiler and interpreters. I have something called compiler and interpreters. That's what the conversion. All right guys, so when you want to define a programming language, so this is a kind of language, right? This is a kind of language where we give instructions to the computer. Okay, so we give instructions to the computer in high level language. Okay, high level language. So every programming language follows certain rules and semantics. Okay, so you can say syntaxes and semantics. Okay, to build up a particular program. Okay, to program something. So what is nothing but programming? Programming is nothing but, okay, so trying to build up a solution, right? Trying to build up a solution for a problem, right? So programming is nothing but what? Just setting up or building up a solution for a common problem. Okay, and the solution can be executed by a machine, right? So giving instructions to the computer, just in our own words guys, it's not a bookish definition. Okay, it's not a textbook definition, just trying to put up our known things. So giving instructions to the computer to solve a problem, a specific problem, right? So giving instructions, programming is nothing but what? Programming is nothing but giving instructions to the computer to solve a particular problem, right? So how are we giving the instructions? So here the instructions are given. Here the instructions are given in high level language. Okay, high level language. So that is what, that is a human can understand. Human can understand, but not to the mission. But not to the mission. Okay, right. So programming is nothing but giving instructions to the computer. We are clear about that. And so when you say language, programming language, so the language helps to, so the language, okay, so the language that helps to the write a program. Okay, the language that helps to write a program. What is programming language? The language that helps to write a program. Okay, so the purpose of program is like it's a group of or set of instructions to the computer to solve a problem, right? So the language that helps to write a program is what? Is nothing but programming language, right? simple thing. It's a simple thing, basic thing. Okay, so most of you guys might be already aware of this, but please be patient. Okay, because there are few freshers as well, they should understand. All right, so the language that helps to write a program is nothing but programming language. Okay, and every programming language follow. Okay, so every programming language follows what? The other point is every programming language follows what? Come on, guys, respond. So follows every programming language follows syntaxes and semantics. Okay, semantics. So what is syntax? Something like syntax is nothing but okay. So this is what you have to do. Here you have to follow this. You have to follow this. Okay. When you say semantic, so so um, the logics whatever you are writing should be appropriate as per the underlying programming technology, underlying programming language, right? So this what every programming language can be divided into these two components mainly, syntax and semantics. Okay, so how do we have something like a grammar in our language? We have to follow the grammar to speak properly, right? And we should know all the meanings of that language, right? So before you speak it, right, you should understand the meanings of the language. Am I right? So in the similar way, the programming language is also having certain syntaxes and semantics. Okay, so that's all, guys. Like, what is a programming language, and okay, how can we define it in simple terms? So this is what the basic stuff. Now, if you look at, so to convert this programming language, whatever we have written in high level, okay, high level, so that needs to be converted into mission level code. That needs to be converted into mission level code. That's where we need the translators. Okay, that's where we need the translators, right? So hopefully you understand that. So to convert high level into so high level is human readable and low level is mission level. So to convert high level code, okay, high level code into machine level code. Come on, guys. So follow me. Machine level code we have. Okay, so we have what? We have certain softwares. We have few softwares. We have softwares to do this job. We have softwares to do this. So known as, come on, known as what? Compiler and interpreter. Hopefully the connection is established now. Okay, compiler and interpreter. Now, how can we define Python? Okay, how can we define a Python? Okay, now you can define yourself. Yes, it's a programming language basically. Okay, so Python is a high level. Okay, it's a high level. So general purpose in the sense, so you can use this for any reason, like okay, to build a web application, to do a simple task, simple copying the files from one location to another location, small script. Okay, you can use this as part of your data science applications. You can use this for gaming applications basically. So that's what it's a general purpose programming language. Python is a high level general purpose programming language. Okay, programming language, of course. So it's well known as, of course it is well known as, of course it is well known as what? Scripting language. Okay, scripting language. So all the scripting languages are interpreter based, or interpreter based programming languages. Okay, is that point clear? So Python is interpreter based programming language or not? So Python is what? So you got this point now. One more point. So Python is a interpreter based programming language. Interpreter based programming language. Is that point clear? Python is interpreter based programming language. Okay, what is the difference between this compiler and interpreter based programming language, guys? Okay, so there are differences between scripting and compiler based. Okay, and this also I have explained in the demo session. Okay, compiler, when you have a program, with the 10 lines of code, okay, when you look at the compiler, okay, so all the source code, okay, validate in a single shot, okay, in a single step. So validates in a single step, meaning that validation is what is validation here? What is validation, guys? So verification of the code, verification of the uh, lines of instructions, verification of the code, or you can say instructions against to what? Against to the syntaxes, the semantics of the given language, of the given programming language. Does that make sense, guys? I'm typing it here. Why? I can make a beautiful PPT and I can just click on. I can just go with the simple clicks, but I don't want that. You had to. It should be something like that. In our own words, it should not be something like the bookish things. Okay, so I should be very clear about this each and every point we are going to discuss. Right, so the compiler is what? All the source code validates in a single step. Okay, the validation is nothing but verification of the instructions that you have written. Okay, those are going to validate, verified against the syntaxes and semantics of the programming language. As per the programming language, so all the instructions what you have written is proper or not. If everything is good, right, then it generates an intermediate file. Okay, so compiler generates, okay, an intermediate file, okay, so which will be executed later, executed later. So is that point clear? Which will be executed later. So if you look at interpreter, okay, so it executes the source code directly, okay, directly. So at the time of execution directly, it's going to validate and it stops you if something is wrong. So Chaitanya, I'll come to your point. So it is well known as interpreter based programming language, but still Python has compiler also. Okay, so it has compiler also. Please be noted that. Okay, so Python is well known as interpreter based programming language. However, okay, so it supports compiler as well. Okay, supports compiler as well. I'll tell you maybe going forward. So why this support is required? So at this point, so you can remember that one point, Python supports compiler also. Okay, so Python also supports what? Compiler based. Okay, so till now, is there any question? Are all of you guys are following me? Okay, so somehow we have defined Python. So what is Python? So Python is a high level general purpose programming language. Okay, it's well known as a scripting language. So still continuing to this, okay, so it supports, okay, it supports different programming paradigms. Okay, so when I say different programming paradigm, it is supporting in the sense it's a multi-paradigm programming language. So you can also add this point when someone asks you what is Python. Okay, so Python is a multi-paradigm programming language. Python is a multi-programming paradigm, multi-paradigm programming language. So what is this multi-paradigm? So what is paradigm? So just to simplify it, a paradigm is just a programming model, or a solution to a solution approach. So when you are in schooling, maybe 10th class or something, so you might be following different models, right, to solve a problem. So model 1, model 2, and out of it, which is simple for me, I'll follow that, right? So just basically approach, you can say solution approach. So when you are implementing a website or web application, or you are solving a problem using a computer with the help of certain programming language, so we will be following certain logics, okay, or programming methodology. So when it is a simple problem, right, so you can say that it's a simple program. But when it's a big application, and it's a bigger application, right, so then what to say? So it's a combination of programs, one or more programs, right? So when you have a number of programs joined all together and implemented a website, then so definitely we need to follow certain standards. We need to follow certain approaches to make it better and better. Okay, to do that, we have different approaches. So that's what, however, the Python is supporting all of them. Okay, anyhow, the most popular paradigms, object oriented programming paradigm. Okay, so object oriented programming paradigm. So object oriented programming paradigm, and it is functional, guys. It is functional oriented also. So that reactive programming, so nowadays the functional programming is also, okay, it's becoming more popular. Okay, where your AngularJS, React.js, and even Java latest version is introduced with that. Okay, so every programming language follows this functional oriented approach. Okay, so it is imperative. So but the top two picks I have written here. So it supports multiple programming paradigms. If you want to look at what are all the programming paradigms it supports, just go to here and you can look at this. So here you can see this paradigm it follow. Okay, multi paradigm. Okay, it's a functional, it's an imperative, it's object oriented, it's a structured and reflective. Okay, it supports multiple programming paradigms. All right, guys. So here you can add this point also when you are defining a Python. Okay, and Python is introduced by whom? Who is the author for this? Who is the author for Python? So Python is introduced by, okay, so his name is Guido van Rossum. So how do you want to pronounce? You do it. Okay, I'm going with like okay, Guido van Rossum. Some people say Guido. So that's up to you. So Guido van Rossum is the author who developed this programming language. Okay, it's a big story. Again, we really don't need that. But if you want to learn, just you can let me know, or you just can Google it. Okay. So the other question is when it is introduced. So that's important thing here you should understand. So if you look at this, when it was introduced for the first time, so see here, 30 years. It's been 30 years, guys. When the first appeared, it is in 1990s, 30 years ago, right? But why this is become more popular now? Okay, so it is first appeared in 1990. Okay, in 1990. So 30 years ago almost, right? But it's more and more popular now. Okay, so why? Because so that is all about of the data. That is all about the data. Okay, so the Python is like, it's a keep writing the libraries. So Python, so what they have done this 30 years process, They keep writing the libraries. They keep adding the libraries. So don't get confused again when I say library. Okay, it's simple thing, guys. So you know what is a program, right? A program is a set of instructions, right? Group of instructions. Everybody knows about this. A program. Okay, when you combine multiple programs, okay, so say I have 10 programs. Examples, say for example I have 10 programs, so group of 10 programs. Okay, so this I can say a module or something. I have 10 modules. I have 10 modules altogether. Then I can say a library. So basically library is a set of programs, that's all, right? So like this, so the people have written so almost 1.5 lakh libraries, yes, plus libraries. Okay, come on guys. So so how I'm going to use them? So when you look at a program, okay, program is a again set of functions, guys, set of functions. Again, when I say set of instructions, so it's not a straight forward instructions, you know, set of instructions. So when you say set of instructions, it's a divided with respect to the functions. So set of functions I can say. So suppose I have a calculator. I have a calculator program. So inside this calculator, I'll be having different functions, different functionality. Okay, different functionality. Say calculator does what? Addition. It does addition. You know, addition. It does multiplication. It does subtraction. So division, etc. Right? Uh, So all these are what different functionalities, carrying out different functionalities. So we can put up the logic specific to that particular functionality. We know we can define a function. So when you look at a program, calculator Python program has these functions. So this is one program having 4 functionalities. So likewise, how many libraries we have, how many functionalities it is already taken care, right? So that is what these 1.5 lakh libraries are addressing. Okay, are addressing okay, almost all the problems, all regular problems, okay, across different domains. When I say domain, that can be data science, that can be data processing, data analytics, data visualization, okay, gaming, or IoT, or websites, anything. When I say domain, okay. So these are given across all these things, guys. So they are keep adding libraries, and as the data is become huge, right? So now um, it's a huge data, right? Worldwide. You just to take Amazon website, how many customers it has. You just to take YouTube now, how much data it will be having, right? So now the data become huge, right? So to process this or to handle this, to write all the stuff, the required stuff from the basic, from the ground level is difficult. So Python is the one where it has given its support to do all the basic stuff for you guys. Just need to use that library to visualize your data, represent the data in a graphical format. So just one or two lines of code to do that, because Python reduce all similar kind of code. That's what boilerplate kind of code. So it has APIs, guys. It has keep writing the APIs, and those APIs are really needy in the current market. Okay, that's what. Okay, so it's appeared in 30 years ago, but it's more popular now. Okay, because of it's a vast okay, it's vast library support, okay, across the domains. It's a support, and it's needy in the current uh, market, where we deal with huge data sets. Okay, huge data sets. So that is what you know, you got some idea now what is Python. I mean the basic things. Okay, so still you can refer here the Wikipedia. Okay, so stable release, now the stable release is what, it's released in 24th February. Okay, just 3 months back. 3.8.2 is the stable release. Okay, 3.8.2 is the stable release. Okay, current stable release is what, 3.8.2. Okay, it's released in this one. Okay, is that clear? Is everybody is following? Everybody is following? Any questions so far? Please raise your hand. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. Okay, right guys, so you can see that here previous releases also I'll show you. So you can just visit this website, python.org is the official website. Okay, it's organization. When you say organization, so it's just a foundation kind of things. Okay, so here this is also like Python Software Foundation. Okay, it is organized by Python Software Foundation. When you say foundation, so there are more than one vendor involved. Okay, it's not specific to a particular company. Okay, maybe when you say Java, it was released by Sun Microsystem, a single company, right? Later it is with the Oracle Corporation. But when you look at Python website, so it's a software foundation, so where one or more people involved, one or more companies involved. Okay, so you can say it's a Python software foundation. Okay, so when you say PSF here, Python Software Foundation, you can go through this, like who are the grantors, what is the infrastructure, who are supporting, who are having memberships. Okay, so everything you can find it out here. Okay, it's a software foundation. Many people are supporting like anything. All right guys. All right, so come back to this. Still you can see here. So its a typing is duck typing. Okay, dynamic typing, it supports duck typing and dynamic typing. So what is duck typing, we'll talk about that. We have a separate session for that. So what is a dynamic typing? So it's about a simple point. So the types you do not have to define it, so automatically it understands based on the data that you are uh, defining it, like JavaScript. So in the JavaScript, most of you guys familiar with JavaScript, right? So how do we define, where x equal to 10? Now what is the type of x? It is integer. The same x I can define in this way. So then automatically the JavaScript treats this, starts treating this is what, a string, a group of characters string, right? So that is what, based on the data, it automatically understands the type. In the similar way, in the similar way, Python is also, or doesn't expect you to define or tell what type of data you are going to handle. So you do not have to specify the type. So just you define the value, that's it. X equal to, then it automatically understand it's a integer type. Okay, so that is what Python is, a dynamic typing language. Python is a dynamic type programming language. Okay, programming language, dynamic typed programming language. So hopefully you guys are following. Okay, so the current stable release 3.8.2. So before that there was a stable release. Okay, it was 2.7. so there was another stable release 2.7.1. Okay, so most of the projects were implemented in this revision, but now the Python development is very aggressive. Every 2 months one release is coming up. So now people started using 3.x because there are n number of differences between 3.x to 2.x. Okay, and unfortunately, like, so there are like problems of backward compatibility. So what is that backward compatibility and stuff? Maybe probably I can talk about that tomorrow. Okay, so don't miss the sessions, beginning sessions. So I may tomorrow I I'll be discussing about scripting language versus programming language differences. Basically, this is important interview question. Okay, for freshers especially interview question. Okay, so this is interview question. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. So point by point, I have big list of differences. We'll talk about that. So for today, what we learned so far. So this much time, almost 1 hour. But what we discussed. So just we understand what is Python. That's it, right? So how do we define it? What is a program, right? What is a high level language? What is a low level language? Right? So what is syntax and semantics? So then the translators. What are the translators that we have? Right? So the translator like compiler or interpreter. Okay. So I think if you summarize, these are the point that we have discussed, right? So and the official website is what? So python.org. Okay. So if you want to download it, anyhow, I'll be showing how to download and install. Okay. Maybe tomorrow session if possible, or day after tomorrow. So here directly you can go to the download section. You can just click on this Python 3.8.2 for Windows. Okay, just download it. Okay, just download it. Some of you guys are joining now, guys. The session is from 6 to 7. If is there any miscommunication or something, please be in contact with our team. They will help you out if you have any issues with timings or whatever issues. Okay, so come back to this. So here, so it has the releases to support all the platforms. You can download it if you want to see. Even if you want to download older versions, of course, still you can download it, the older versions. Okay. So anyhow, I'll be showing it up, guys, how to download and how to install it. Here we'll start with the programming, maybe in a 1 or 2 sessions. Okay, so here still there are few more things to discuss again. So what operating system it is going to support, and what license it is offered. Okay, so for your information, it's a open source software. It's a free software. You do not have to pay anything to use it. Okay, so these are the file extensions that you can see. You can save your file in any of these formats. Okay, right, you can see there are n number of implementations, guys. Probably maybe I would talk about this tomorrow. Okay. Right, guys, just refer this. Okay, let's stop it here for today, and we'll take it further tomorrow from here. Any doubts, please? So the lines are open for questions, guys. Please put up your questions here in the chat box. Yeah.
Can you open the Notepad++?
But plus, okay.
Notepad++.
Yeah. Yeah.
About the interpreter and compiler, is that the final session?
For the
Like, you
file.
have any more points to add?
Yes, that is what. So we are, yes, I have points for that also. That's what we'll take it tomorrow. But at this point you can say Python is interpreter as well as as well as compiler based. Okay, programming language. That's the point.
I'm
So
interested in understanding what is the difference between compiler and interpreter in deep.
that is what. So tomorrow we are going to talk about that. So
Yeah,
this
okay,
so
okay.
so this one right, this one will make you clear about that point. I mean, so a programming language follows compiler most of the times. Okay, so there we'll be discussing about exactly how a programming language would be, how a scripting language would be. So I'll take an example tomorrow and I'll show you. Okay, maybe
Yeah,
you will get, so it will be very clear tomorrow. Do not have to worry about
yeah.
that point. And
Okay.
Chaitanya, paradigm is like just a programming model. That's all. I mean, so if you look at object oriented, right, it supports certain points. Maybe it supports kind of classes, so you can structure your model in terms of classes, and you can do your programming. When you look at functional programming, it supports different points. Maybe you can pass a function to a as an argument to a function written here as a from a function, right? There are different concepts, and it has its own advantages. Okay, so when you say paradigm, it's just a programming model approach, a solution approach to a problem, nothing more, nothing great. So programming is just a general term. So how you are and paradigm is like how you are going to program. You understand? Program is just writing a solution. To write the solution, how you are going to do it. Okay, if I have given a problem to you guys, okay, different people write a different ways, right? They implement in different ways. Everybody has their own logic, but out of it, what is the best logic? What is the suitable logic, which takes less number of lines of code, which gives best performance? There are a number of characteristics involved in that, right? So that paradigm defines that. If you follow this paradigm, okay, it supports this. If you follow this paradigm, it supports this. But ultimately, what we are doing is programming. And that programming, to do that programming, we are following using these paradigms. That's all, Chaitanya. Yeah, hope you got it. Yeah. Right, guys. So, Chaitanya, you got it, right? Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Actually, I'm working as a PLC code developer, as I already mentioned. So we use SQL and PLSQL
Yeah.
to communicate with the database. So that is the programming language I use. So here you mentioned like it is a conversation between human and machine about Python, right? So exactly
Right.
what you mean by machine here? Is it like any database or something like that?
No. When I meant mission is just a computer, so assembly level. Mission, just a computer. Nothing like a database or some system. I didn't mean that. Okay, system in the sense some kind of application. It's not an application, it's just a computer. That's it. When I say mission, computer, that's it. So no application, no website, no database, nothing. And database, yeah, PLSQL is just a programming language to interact with the database in terms of queries, retrieving the data, storing, etc. Right? That's the PLSQL that is also a programming language, right? But that has its own stuff. Yes, so Python is also like its own kind of programming language, but it's not specific to the interactive database. But using Python, you can execute your PLSQL query. Using Python, you can execute the SQL query. Using Python, you can execute procedure. Probably, maybe as you are working as a PLSQL developer, your application may be developing in Java or .NET or something, right? So how people are executing the queries in the similar way, Python is just another programming language like Java. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
So any other questions? Any other questions, guys? So I need to wind up. I have another session now. Is that good? Good to wind up for today. We'll see. So we'll go slowly, guys, till you guys following up. Then we can speed up. Let's discuss point by point in detail. Okay. Hope all of you guys are good. Okay. Let's wind up for today. Let's meet tomorrow, guys. Have a good day. Okay. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye. I'll be sharing these notes. Go through that and recap.
Yeah. Thank you.